December 7, 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, causing the U.S. to join World War II. Their attack was successful, but they did not manage to hit any of the naval repair yards, fuel storage areas, or the submarine base, which meant the U.S. was back up and running in no time. But why Pearl Harbor? I went to Mark Matacola, a flight instructor for the United States Air Force, and asked him why.
Japan decided to bomb Pearl Harbor because they knew that the United States was the biggest military force in the Pacific Ocean, and if they were able to cripple that military force, then they can have their way with all of the lands in the Pacific Ocean.
I wanted to learn more about aviation, so then I asked, how much of the war with Japan was fought with aviation?
A whole bunch of it was. Actually, the advantage of the day that they attacked Pearl Harbor was the fact that none of the aircraft carriers were in port in Oahu at the time. So actually all of their carriers, all of the United States' carriers actually survived. So we were able to bring it back to Japan because those carriers still had their whole airway.
Then I wondered, how important was aviation against the war with Japan?
Aviation was huge. First of all, you needed aviation to be able to find submarines. Submarines were, used for spying on people, to take down other ships. You also used them for spotter planes, reconnaissance airplanes, to be able to find where the fleets were, because you didn't have really good radar at that point. You didn't really have satellites that you can look down and go, oh, here's a fleet of 100 different ships.
Then I wondered, did Japan focus its military around aviation?
They used their military pretty well roundedly. They used their ships to get their aviation where they needed to. They used their aviation for kamikaze runs to specifically attack ships. They used the aviation in Pearl Harbor to actually torpedo bomb the ships. So they used their aviation very effectively. But they still needed ground troops. They still needed a navy. So they had a very huge military.
Did aviation help in the war with Japan?
Oh, I think it helped a lot. It was huge.
Aviation played a key role in many battles because planes could carry a variety of weapons, like incendiary bombs, which was vital to the success of the attack on Tokyo during the night of March 9th and 10th, 1945, or also referred to as Operation Meeting House. The attack on Tokyo was the single deadliest air raid of World War II, which goes to show how much aviation was used. With aviation came large amounts of death. It is important to remember that aviation played a part in bringing the U.S. into war when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, but also brought the U.S. out of war when planes dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Robert A. Levet, a former civilian assistant security of war for air, argued, "While I don't go as far as to claim that air power alone will win the war, I do claim the war will not be won without it." I've been wondering if the outcome of the war with Japan would have been different if the U.S. didn't have the aviation technology it had.
Yes, I think a lot more lives would have been cost because a lot of the battles that were fought going back towards Japan were island to island. So a lot of them were actually fought by Marines anyway, and were fought, and the cost was huge with American lives and on our allies' lives. But if anything, the aviation was used to soften up those targets before the ground personnel got on there.
I think about that last statement a lot. That's exactly what I'm trying to portray in this video. If the U.S. didn't have the aviation technology it had, the outcome of the war would have been different. I can't say for certain what the outcome of the war would have been, but what I can say is that I full-heartedly believe that if the U.S. did not have the aviation technology it had, the outcome of the war would have been much worse, with a lot more death.